So I'm just clinging onto the side of this hill in the rain here because I've just found some Bleach Cup Morels. And these are related to the morel mushrooms, and it's a spring cup fungi that you can find in March, April and May. You can find these in broadleaf woodlands, and they are meant to be saprobic, but some people actually think that they might be ectomycorrhizal, similar to the morels, but they've got a very, very distinctive bleach or chlorine sort of smell to them, that when you crush it or rub it, it really does smell like a swimming pool. So it's a really, really good identifying feature for these. So these are edible, but I'm going to be leaving them here because I don't see them very often. So these are going to stay here. This little patch of plants down here is creeping comfrey, and this is our earliest flowering comfrey in the UK, and it has got these lovely, lovely white flowers on them, and it's a patch forming plant that's very, very low growing, and it's a really great ground cover in gardens. It's super medicinal. It's got vitamins A, B1, B2, B3, vitamin C, and it's got calcium, phosphorus and lots more that have evaded the top of my head. But it's also got pyrrolizidine alkaloids, which can be harmful to the liver in huge quantities. So it's recommended if you eat comfrey, just have small amounts, don't overdo it, don't eat big bagfuls of it. But it is a really great plant. It's also called knitbone, and that's because it's really, really great at healing wounds and treating infections. And you're actually not supposed to use comfrey on open wounds that haven't been thoroughly cleaned, because it can heal wounds so fast that it can actually trap dirt and bacteria inside. So this can actually be used to make poultices with. So you can crush the leaves, add a little bit of spit or water, and add that to the inflamed area, and it should bring down swelling and help with the healing process. It's a really great little plant, comfrey. I just found a really good birch plantation that I thought I could harvest some sap from one of the trees, and it looks like somebody else has already thought the same thing. They thought that this spot was a good idea too. Let's have a look. So you can see they've put a little plug in it, and it's not stopped the sap from flowing. It's still all dripping out of here. And actually studies have shown that plugging or corking tree tapping sites doesn't actually help to prevent them from bleeding out, and it doesn't help to prevent them from being exposed to pathogens or fungi either. It's actually been shown to accelerate the process of decay rather than prevent it. It can inadvertently trap the fungal spores and cause decay a lot quicker. So it is recommended that if you are drilling into trees and you are tapping them, then to remove the plugs or the corks at the end of the tapping season, and that will the tree will then just close up its wound naturally. But if you look over here, this is my tree tapping method. I just snipped off a branch at the end. I've made sure that the branch has got some buds, and to make sure it's live and growing, and then I've just popped on a little bag at the end, and that's just been collecting for about 5 minutes now. Right, that is dripping nicely. Right, so while that is dripping away, let me sit and talk to you about why I don't drill trees and I do this method instead. So you might be familiar with the traditional way of tapping birch trees with a drill or an auger and then connecting a spout, but it's actually a really intrusive and quite harmful way to extract your birch sap. And this method of tapping your birch trees is actually causing pretty irreversible harm to our native birch trees, especially with the growth of people tapping trees and the information that's been spread around in regards to best practice. But it's actually been shown that the traditional methods of tapping birch trees is really not sustainable at all. When we tap birch trees, we're not just making a simple extraction. We are opening up wounds that will weaken the tree's defence system. And these open wounds become gateways for decay-causing organisms. They invite fungi and bacteria and insects that threaten the tree's stability, and it weakens its function, and it contributes to a premature death as well. So for the sake of harvesting a drink, I really just don't think it's worth it. Birch trees are not nearly as tolerant as maple trees at being able to. My battery ran out there, so I just charged it up while I had some lunch. And I've just gone for another little walk while I let my sap run for another hour or so, see what else I can find. So what I was saying is that birch trees have a much lower tolerance than maple trees to be able to compartmentalise their wounds. And what that means is to stop it from spreading throughout the rest of the tree. And so the kindest way to do it is just to snip a little branch off and let the sap run that way, because then if it does get an infection, the birch tree can just eject the branch, create a little knothole, and it stops the infection from spreading any further. Woohoo! Look at all of these jelly ears on this dead elder. So many. And all down here as well. I didn't really bring a suitable container for jelly ears, so I shall leave these be. But you can see all of the leaves of the elder are just starting to sprout as well. And you can actually use elder leaf, it's like an insect repellent. Crush the leaves, rub it on your skin, use them as an insect repellent. You can also make quite a good salve out of it to help with inflammation and help soothe the skin as well. It's quite a good plant, elder, all year round. Winter you get the mushrooms, spring you get these lovely, lovely leaves. In the summer you get the flowers, and then obviously in the autumn you get the berries. Love elder. We've got some lovely lush bright green vetch down here, and vetch is part of the pea family, and these little shoots do taste just like pea shoots. You can use them as a garnish in your salads, or pop them in your egg mayo sandwiches or on top of your soups. They're really, really delicious. You shouldn't eat too many of them, but as a garnish or a little nibble as you're walking around, absolutely fine and really, really delicious too. Look at that gorse in the sunshine. Absolutely beautiful. I bet those ones up there are coconutty. They've had the sun on them all day. So beautiful, this plant. Just found a beautiful patch of Alexanders down here, and Alexanders does look quite similar to celery, but you do need to make sure you're not getting it confused with hemlock water dropwort, which can look quite similar. But a good telltale sign for Alexanders is this candy striped sheath that covers the flower bud. You can see that quite well here, and these flower buds kind of look like little spears of broccoli, like sprouting broccoli heads, and you can cook them just the same as you would broccoli, and they're really, really quite delicious. The stem is hollow and grooved. You can see all these grooves down it. When you cut it open, it'll be hollow, and you can chop this up and candy it. You can use the stems in stocks, and then cook the tops just as you would broccoli. It's a really, really delicious plant. Hello, Jack by the hedge, or hedge garlic, garlic mustard. This is a gorgeous tasting plant, and especially if you can't find wild garlic near you, this grows absolutely everywhere. It has the same sort of oniony, garlicky flavour to it. It's really delicious and a great one to come across. You can find them in alleyways, in woodlands, on waste grounds, in gardens, pretty much anywhere really. All of the hogweed's back. These little baby shoots are delicious. Really, really nice, just sautéed in butter. Pan fried, just like you would asparagus or something. The leaves can be quite changeable on hogweed. They can look quite different, but you want to look out for this kind of downy top surface to the leaf. But more importantly, it's the stems that's the dead giveaway. Look at this big groove that you've got in it. And these little tiny hairs. And the pinkish tinge. No pink blotches or red blotches on it. Just a nice kind of tinge to it. Just look for that grooved stem. This is delicious. So I've left this for about an hour, and I've just come back and it's filling up quite nicely. Look at that. I think I might actually leave that for the day, finish my walk, go home, and that's a nice little drink for the walk home. Not bad. So that is just a much less intrusive way of harvesting your sap. No drilling required, it's a lot easier. Oh my gosh, that's random. Can you see that little pony up there? It has just got really dark and really windy. I think a storm is a-brewing. Yes, it's just started raining, but I've just spied a flowering currant over there, so I really want to go and harvest a few little blossoms before it starts to... God, it's just started to piss it down. but I've just found lots and lots of flowering currant, and this stuff is absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, it's hailing now. I don't know if you can hear me. It tastes just like blackcurrant. It smells like blackcurrant. It's really, really delicious in cordials and infused in vinegar. And I'm just getting absolutely pelted right now.